Huang Feihong is lively by nature and often can't help getting involved in other people's business, but at critical moments, he tends to lose control, especially when it comes to drinking. For him, that is easier said than done. Just a few days earlier, Wang Qieying was traveling with his son Huang Feihong. They were returning from the northeast after buying ginseng when they were stopped by Beiyang warlords before boarding the train. The soldiers demanded that they declare any valuable items for customs. To avoid the steep tax on ginseng, Huang Feihong took advantage of a moment of distraction and slipped the ginseng into a British passenger's luggage. In this way, Huang Feihong and the others successfully evaded the customs tax, boarded the train smoothly, and planned to retrieve the ginseng along the way. However, because the two were dressed plainly, they were driven away by the guards at the entrance, making it clear that a direct approach wouldn't work. So Huang Feihong borrowed a flock of chickens and ducks to deliberately create chaos, and used the confusion to slip into the carriage where the British stored their luggage. Unexpectedly, the moment he opened the door, he found a thief already inside. Huang Feihong tried to seize him, but the thief slapped him away, and not wanting to cause more trouble, Huang Feihong decided to leave after locating the ginseng. Just then, the sound of guards suddenly came from outside the door. With no other choice, Huang Feihong climbed out through the window. Coincidentally, the thief hadn't gone far, and eager to return the slap he'd just received, the two engaged in a chase that led them beneath the train. To Huang Feihong's surprise, the thief had hidden his weapon there, seeing that he was unarmed and clearly at a disadvantage. With no time to spare, Huang Feihong abandoned the chase and rushed after the departing train. Luckily, a kind stranger helped him, allowing him to get aboard in time. What no one expected was that the ginseng Huang Feihong had gone to such lengths to recover had somehow turned into an antique jade imperial seal. Meanwhile, the real ginseng was in the thief's possession, the man who had mistakenly taken his luggage. He soon arrived at Beiyou Zealand. At that moment, Huang Feihong stepped out, and without a word, he immediately moved to confront the man. Seeing Huang Feihong fighting again, Huang Qieying rushed forward to stop them both. After introductions, they learned that the man was actually the last imperial martial laureate of Manchuria. Fu Mingqi had come to retrieve the jade seal Huang Feihong had taken by mistake, but unexpectedly, the moment he got the seal back, he was attacked by the Axe Gang. After a fierce clash, Fu Mingqi narrowly escaped with the jade seal, but he did not expect the British to be lying in ambush along the way. They fired 2 shots into his chest and seized the jade seal amid the chaos. Witnessing this, Huang Feihong resolved to reclaim China's jade seal. However, since he was forbidden from fighting, he disguised himself as a British soldier together with his close friend Ah Can, and secretly infiltrated the consulate to retrieve the seal through cunning. Unbeknownst to them, it was all part of a British trap. The British then threw the two into a cell and subjected them to a brutal beating. After beating them unconscious, the British used this to threaten Huang Qieying, force him to hand over the land of the martial arts hall so the British can expand their factory. To save Huang Feihong and the other man, Huang Qieying had no choice but to give up the land. However, Huang Feihong had only been home for a few days when he heard that the British were not only abusing Chinese workers, forcing them to work overtime producing steel, and using it as a cover to secretly ship Chinese antiques back to their own country. Seeing the British bully China like this, Huang Feihong could no longer tolerate it. He decided to join forces with the others and destroy the British steel factory. Although the British were physically strong, they were no match for Chinese kung fu. They were knocked to the ground in just a few moves. After learning what was happening, Tan Chang immediately ordered his 4 men to attack Huang Feihong at the same time. Facing the 4 attackers, Huang Feihong responded with calm composure. Unexpectedly, Henry and Tan Chang above took turns using hidden mechanisms to ambush Huang Feihong, catching him completely off guard. Realizing he was at a disadvantage, Huang Feihong immediately climbed onto the platform and engaged the 2 of them in close combat. Although Henry was quickly knocked down by him, no one expected Tan Chang's leg techniques to be so formidable, as he unleashed a flurry of consecutive kicks. Huang Feihong was beaten into having no room to defend himself. Seeing this, Huang Feihong rushed in and locked him in a close hold, only for Tan Chang to jab his eyes fiercely with his chin, blinding him. No longer underestimating his opponent, Huang Feihong immediately assumed a drunken fist stance and confronted Tan Chang once more. Unexpectedly, Tan Chang was not only deadly with his legs, but his punches were equally fierce, driving Huang Feihong back with just a few blows. With no other choice, Huang Feihong stepped forward again, only to be ambushed as Henry suddenly rose from below and struck with a red-hot steel pipe. Tan Chang pressed his advantage and, with one swift kick, sent Huang Feihong straight into the steel-making furnace pit. Tan Chang was about to pick up a steel pipe as well, to deliver the final blow, but his attention was drawn to the fan Huang Feihong had dropped. No one can save you now. Hearing this, Huang Feihong instantly realized that only he could save himself, so he grabbed the industrial alcohol beside him. He gulped it down, intending to unleash the full power of Drunken Fist. Sure enough, moments later, the intoxication took hold. With just 2 effortless moves, he knocked Henry to the ground. Then he downed another bottle of alcohol. This time he perfectly controlled the intake and immediately launched into the Drunken 8 Immortals techniques. He effortlessly overpowered Tan Chang, and finally, he hoisted him high into the air and slammed him hard onto the ground. At this point, the steel factory was destroyed, and the national treasures were returned to China. And that brings the film to its end.